Alright, so welcome to this demonstration of the Mantis Combat Debug menu. And what this is this is a tool that I'm using for playtesting and balancing and also sort of bug hunting in Foundation of Federation, which is the mod that I'm working on. So what this does is it adds a menu to the beginning of the game, triggered on Start Beacon. And this menu brings up a submenu that has a number of different options. Some of these are sort of events that are loaded directly, and some of these are submenus. But they all have to do with combat and loading combat encounters against Mantis ships. The first option loads a ship from the master Mantis ship. This is the Mantis ship list that's going to be used most often in the game. 75% of the time you get a normal Mantis ship, so that's like a normal scout, fighter, or bomber, but a fourth of the time you end up with an elite hull, and that's just a recolor of the basic red hull to the sort of color scheme, the purple and teal color scheme of the alternate cruiser. And these elite hulls are a little bit more powerful. Their minimum values for a number of their systems are increased, which means that when they get scaled to the sector that you're encountering them in, they're a bit tougher than the basic hulls that you would be encountering in that sector. And that's why they don't happen that often. So this option will also only pick ships that are appropriate to the sector, right? It's a sector appropriate. So, for instance, only Mantis Scouts are appropriate for the first sector because their min sector value is 0 and their max sector value is 3. So that's what that button does. The next button loads a ship much like the first button, but it only picks from the basic ship's hulls, not the elites. And then the third one, conversely, only picks from the elite hulls and not from the basic hulls. 4 will let you actually choose from any specific hull you want to load from the basic menu. So you see we got the scout, the fighter, and the bomber. In parentheses it lists the appropriate sectors that you'll normally encounter them in, or be able to encounter them in. But because these are being loaded directly, as opposed to through a blueprint list, max and min sector attributes are not respected. So here we can load a fighter right away, even though it doesn't make sense for the fighter to be in the first sector. One thing you'll notice here is that this guy's got some red lasers, and the reason behind this is I've sort of recolored the Mantis lasers to fit the Mantis hulls, and right now the alternate hulls, which we could just show you right now. So the elite menu, just like the basic menu, right? We got the different things you can fight, like see the elite fighter here? He's got a red burst laser. That's eventually going to be changed. It's just something I haven't gotten around to yet. But I'm not 100% sure if I like the coloration right now. So I mean that's gonna be up in the air. I'll be fiddling with it in the next couple of days. You'll notice that this guy cloaked. It's got a cloaking system. That's because the alternates are sort of like stealth ships. I figure the Mantis are pretty underhanded in their combat style, and that's one of the things that they're going to be doing is having these stealth ships, which are their elite ships. You'll notice he's got a missile here. That's actually a breach missile system. The Mantis fight with primarily burst lasers, which is what they're famous for, as well as breach missiles, as well as breach bombs. So let's just go back to that debug menu here. So I showed you the basic, the elite menu. This will just call up specific ships. There's also this, the unique combat menu, and this loads unique encounters. In this case, the only 2 unique encounters that are fully implemented are the Mantis Cruiser and the elite. Well, by fully implemented, I mean the proper jib alignment and everything like that. The actual stats haven't been hammered out yet. But anyway, these sort of unique battles aren't tied to random encounters. They're tied to specific quest events. And in both of these cases, defeating one of these vessels ends up unlocking a ship. That hasn't been implemented in this combat unlocker because I don't want to mess with anybody's sort of current profiles, but that's what happens. So just to show you how it's been implemented, jib alignment should be proper on this. Obviously the floor plan follows the floor plan of the cruiser that you're able to access in the basic game. One thing that should be noted is that he actually has 30 hull points, even though they're not all displayed, and that's sort of a problem that I can't get across. There seems to be no way to display more hit points than, I believe, 20 is the maximum. Alright, so we got blown up really fast there. The other thing that should be noted, the whole point of this is actually that you can keep doing these combats. So let's just pick a little bit better of a ship, and I'll demonstrate. So random, scout, makes sense because it's the only one that is sort of a legal encounter right now. So let's just quickly destroy this guy. Let's just target his shields. Alright, so destroyed, right? That's good. You see we got a quest marker. So this quest marker you'll always get for defeating a ship that you defeat through that menu. And we see the quest is here, quite far away, so I'm not going to bother jumping to it. But this quest marker will let you access that combat menu again. So you can just keep accessing the combat menu. And the point of this is for playtesting balance, right? So I can go through each of the sectors and fight ships at different sectors just to make sure that the game is scaling properly. Eventually I'm going to program these sort of combat simulators for all the races that are going to be in the game, and they'll be triggered based on entering that race's sector. So the Federation sectors will probably have Outcast combat menus, the NG will have an NG one, and so the Zoltan will have a Zoltan one, for instance. But with the NG and the Zoltan, because they're cast more as potential allies, their combat menus won't really be against their ships, even though they will be included. That won't be the point. The point will be mainly the combat encounters that are possible in that sector. So yeah, I hope that was helpful to somebody.